if like in-person interviews come back, because there actually has been a lot more people cheating lately. It's gotten a lot easier to do that. But it was honestly always pretty easy to cheat. People did it a lot more than you think, and some people even admitted to doing it. So I'm not trying to like a snitch or anything, but there's this video, and it's a public video. It's like 6 years old now, from old school YouTuber Joma, and
does something different. They make you do a coding challenge.
Oh, I didn't have that.
And I just Googled the coding challenge and I found it and I just, I just fucking copy pasted it and it was totally fine.
Actually, I remember.
Yeah, so I think one of the arguments that people make a lot is everybody is cheating. Like, these interviews suck. Everybody just cheats through the interviews. People say it as if it's a new thing. People say, like, well, with ChatGPT, it can solve all the LeetCode problems. People been cheating. People have been cheating. It's very easy to cheat. Like, there's so many ways to cheat. And it's not like it was hard back then either. Like, you heard what he said. He just Googled it and he found it and that was it. How do you stop something like that? How do you stop leaking? Well, with online assessments, it's practically impossible because those are like fully automated.
Hello. If you guys want to understand how frustrating it is to get a six-figure salary as a software engineer, study LeetCode. This is what we're going to be taking a look at. NeetCode, who is a former Google software engineer, has a video on, does he still think that LeetCode is going to be relevant today and in the future? And so you want to know this because LeetCode is the way that somebody maintains their job security. If you're strong at LeetCode, you can go to any tech company that you want. But getting to proficiency, getting to mastery in these things is quite tedious. And the time that you take in order to work on these projects, you could be better spent learning how to actually be a good software engineer. So today we are taking a critical look at what NeetCode says is the future of LeetCode, and we're going to see if we can find a way in order to take control of our careers. Is NeetCode, is LeetCode, is LeetCode still the way? Let's get into it. Also, I am a thing engineer myself. I work for Twitch, Amazon, and Google as an intern. I would really appreciate if you like, share, and subscribe.
But I assume they have a lot of like experience. And what they say is everybody hates these whiteboard coding tests that people are forced to take in interviews, and for good reason. The main problem is that they tell you absolutely nothing useful. When I'm hiring, I want to hire people who will integrate well with the teams, who have demonstrated their ability to learn, who are creative and show some initiative, who can communicate effectively in code and English. I'm looking for a contributor, not a code monkey. I don't really care if they can pull code out of their heads like a rabbit. That's a learnable skill. Software development is primarily a social activity nowadays, so I'm also screening for soft skills. The whiteboard tests are telling me that you're hiring somebody to work alone in a cave where they'll throw a slab of meat whenever they get hungry. And I think the rest of it is just kind of rambling or yapping. He had a funny phrase.
So if you guys want to know how I feel about this, I think that LeetCode is really bad. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I've been on a job and I have not seen anything LeetCode related. I think your ability to understand problems, your grit, these are things that are way more important. But unfortunately, it's hard to measure for those skills within an interview. You only have 1 hour, right, to prove that you are Google worthy. And so in order to have a fair, just test where nobody can cheat or somebody can show their intelligence, I think LeetCode is the best method of testing people today. But yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I think it's a waste of time. All the hours that I've spent learning how to do LeetCode, sometimes I wish I could have that time back and go back to work on a project, do something more fulfilling, start a business. Those things would have helped me in my career a lot more than understanding how to sort a binary tree or whatever. And so, yeah, it seems like NeetCode is on the opposite side. Let's take a look.
Certain company, they just have a certain way of doing things. And there's a lot of bureaucracy. There's a lot of overhead. There's a lot of like things in the way. And like LeetCode, in my humble opinion, is the least of the problems. I mean, it's a pain in the ass. It's stressful, sure, but the job, even though it's quite different than the interview, there's still like plenty of things wrong with the job as well. But anyways, And make no mistake, these places screen for soft skills, teamwork, etc. These are done via recruiter screen, hiring manager interviews, to some extent architecture and bar raiser. Very good point. Obviously, the coding interview isn't just done it's not like exactly an online assessment. It's not exactly a standardized test that people just take, pass or fail, and then just get in. There's a lot more involved in that, and those are some of the things that I actually struggled with when I was trying to get hired. But to finish this, the coding interview is usually 1 or 2 out of 5 to 6 interviews. And the coding part is usually the most trivial to pass for anyone putting in the effort to prep. See the point on putting up with the most pointless stuff the job asks for. The problem is not that big tech uses these hiring processes. It makes perfect sense for them. It's when small companies hiring 5 to 10 people per year copy it without thinking. More on how to build a sensible hiring process without blindly copying it. And he links to his newsletter, which I would recommend people checking out. Like, he's a good content creator. I think he's one of the good ones. Very genuine person. He makes a couple more points in the replies. He wouldn't be surprised.
I think I'm going to end it here. I think in my final notes, if you're somebody that you want to be an indie hacker, you want to be able to use these AI tools to start your own business, I would really appreciate liking and subscribing and sharing, because this is the community that I want to create. I think LeetCode is some bullshit. And although I do enjoy solving problems, I do think that strengthening my mind is good. I do not think that somebody should be able to spend months trying to figure out a problem, and then they sit up and they're like, hey, this is going to be a great LeetCode problem now. It took me a month to figure out, and now I'm going to ask you to do it in an hour. And if you can't do it, it just means that I don't have enough data points to signal that you are a good candidate. But other than that, deuces.